In this video, I'm going to answer a question I get asked a lot, and that is what's the difference between MIM and MBA programs? I'm also going to talk about whether you should do an MIM, and finally, I'm going to talk about the HEC Paris MIM program and how it's structured, because it can be quite different from most traditional master's programs. Before I get into it, I want to ask you if you can hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Actually, you know what? Give this video a thumbs up at the end if you think you liked it. Never mind. But hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be uploading more videos about HEC Paris, about masters in management, about studying in France. I have all this crazy content coming up and I don't want you to miss it. Alright, so let's just get right into it. So the first topic of the day is MIM versus MBA. MIM is short for Masters in Management. The primary characteristic of MIM programs is that these are pre-experience programs. They don't require you to have any work experience before you join. In fact, most programs will actually disqualify you if you have more than 2 years of experience before applying. Most students in the MIM are either fresh out of their bachelor's or they've just worked for about a year or in some cases 2 years when they join. The average age of an MIM student is around 23 to 24 years. MBA, on the other hand, is a master's in business administration. MBA programs generally require you to have more than 2 or 3 years of experience before you can join. And even though the minimum experience requirement is around 2 to 3 years, most students in MBA programs already have about 4 to 5 years of experience, if not more. And their average age tends to be around 28 to 30 years old. So you can see they're a bit older. MBA programs are also a bit more expensive than MIM programs because MBA programs can run up to maybe around 100,000 euros or dollars or more, whereas MIM programs like the one at HEC goes somewhere around 35 to 40,000 euros excluding living expenses. So the next question you want to ask is, should I do an MIM? And honestly, there's no right or wrong answer to this, but I'm going to talk about a few good reasons to do an MIM. The first reason is to change your industry. So I studied computer science engineering in my bachelor's, but I wanted to work in marketing. So the MIM was perfect because I could join it straight after graduating without having to gain any work experience beforehand. So if you've studied engineering or if you've studied arts before and you want to get into business and commerce, the MIM is perfect for that because you don't have to wait till you have enough experience to do an MBA to switch your industry. The MIM will give you the knowledge, the skills, the network, and the opportunities to help you make the switch. The second good reason to do an MIM is to change your geography. If you want to work in Europe, but you've studied in India or if you've studied in the US, doing an MIM in Europe will definitely give you the opportunities and the network which you need to get a job or an internship over here. Not to mention, studying in France or studying in Europe is definitely going to give you a much easier way of getting a work visa or citizenship or residency in the future as well. The third good reason to do an MIM is to simply get more knowledge and credibility in the industry. It is a master's degree after all. The experience that you gain by studying at a top school like HEC Paris and by doing master's level internships at different companies is going to be valuable even if you've already studied business or if you have no intention to change your geography. The third and final topic that I'm going to address today is the HEC Paris MIM. In this section, I'm going to talk about the HEC Paris MIM and how it is structured. The HEC Paris MIM for international students is structured into 3 years. The M1 year, the M2 year, and the optional gap year in between. In the M1 year, you will learn the basics of various different management subjects. Marketing, strategy, operations, law, and a whole bunch of different finance courses. In the first semester, language and sport classes are mandatory as well. Of course, if you've already studied some of the subjects in the M1 year and you can prove it, you can always drop them and take electives in their place. Other than that, it's a pretty fixed program. The courses that you have to take are pretty much pre-decided. This is the year to get up to speed in different business subjects if you haven't studied business in your bachelor's. After you finish the M1 year, you have a choice. You can either go on to the M2 year directly, or you can choose to take an optional gap year before you start your M2. The gap year is highly recommended if you don't have any full-time experience before you joined, or if you don't have any experience in the field that you want to work in. In this year, you're gonna have the time to complete 2 6-month internships, and you can probably even squeeze in another summer internship if you're so inclined. And ideally, you would want the internships to be a bit different from each other so you can get a good idea of what you like and what you don't, and you can make an informed decision about what you want to do after you graduate. I'm currently in the gap year right now. The M2 year is when you choose to specialize in a specific field. Some of the common specializations that you can take on the HEC campus are marketing, strategy, international finance, and a couple of more. There are over 20 specializations to choose from if you include the double degrees and international programs that HEC has a partnership with as well. Some of the double degrees that you can apply for are at Yale, MIT, Tsinghua University. This is the year that I think is like the meat of the entire program, and this is when you truly gain the knowledge that you're going to need in the industry that you're going to work in afterwards. This is also the year that you're going to be applying for jobs, so it's a really important year. As you can see, it's a pretty long program if you include the gap year. It's about 3 years. That's as long as some bachelor's degrees and is definitely much longer than an MBA. It also makes it quite unique having the gap year in the middle, and I think that's something that not a lot of master's programs around the world have, and I think that's a big advantage to the HEC program as compared to other places. I feel like having 3 years to do it, I mean, it's an advantage and a disadvantage. The disadvantage clearly is that it takes a long time. But the advantage is that, especially if you've just moved to France from a different country, 3 years gives you an ample amount of time to build your network here, to really integrate and settle into the place, so that when you're applying for a job, you're far more prepared. I hope this video cleared up some of your doubts and questions about MIM programs and what makes them different from MBAs, and also give you a bit of an insight about how the HEC Paris program is structured.